Imagine for a moment you and your best friend are at a party together. You both are having a great time and are enjoying the night, and then all of a sudden your friend begins to act differently. She seems to be really tired and delirious. You assume it's from factors such as alcohol or simply wanting to show off. You erase the thought out of your mind and continue to talk with others. At the end of the night, you are ready to leave, so you go searching for your best friend. You find her in a room, getting taken advantage of, later finding out due to a date rape drug, Rufinol. This girl was my best friend. After this horrific incident, I became completely obsessed in learning all about how to take precautions, the warning signs, and how to handle such a crisis situation. It was my best friend, but it could be your best friend, you, or anyone else you may know. We should all be aware of how serious date rape drugs are, how detrimental the effects can be, and how to act if you ever come across a situation in which date rape drugs exist. Let's first look at the statistics regarding date rape drugs before moving on to how to protect yourself and others from them. Date rape drugs have unfortunately become a popular tactic of sexual assault, especially among environments such as college campuses, raves, and other party scenes. To see how common this tactic occurs, let's look at a couple of examples. The Illinois State University reports an annual summary of sexual assaults. In 2006, 31 sexual assaults were reported, even though rates are estimated to be much higher due to most not being reported. Of the 31 reported in 2006, nearly one-third of the victims suspected they had been given a date rape drug. Carol Tavris and Carol Wade states in their book, The Longest War, Sex Differences in Perspective, that 51 to 60% of college men report they would rape a woman if they were certain that they could get away with it. As you can now tell, we are all likely to encounter this problem in one way or another. Now that we have seen the astounding statistics, let's turn our attention to some facts regarding date rape drugs, learn some precautions, and how to protect yourself and others from them. First, let's define what date rape drugs are. The simplest of terms is that date rape drugs are usually used to assist in committing sexual assaults on a victim. According to the Illinois Department of Public Health, the effects of these drugs may cause victims to be physically helpless, unable to refuse sex, and unable to remember what happened. Mike Hardcastle states that consistent reports show the same effects from date rape drugs, including dizziness, overwhelming fatigue, detachment from one's own body and from physical surroundings, and a lack of emotions. He also mentions that these drugs are difficult to trace. They are usually odorless, tasteless, and difficult to detect when mixed with drinks or other drugs. Next, let's learn about the three most prominent date rape drugs, Rufinol, GHB, and ketamine. According to the University of Wisconsin Police, Rufinol, also known as Roofies, are basically sedatives with approximately 10 times the potency of Valium. The tablets are round, white, and slightly smaller than aspirin. Also, according to the University of Wisconsin Police, GHB is a central nervous system depressant. It is a clear liquid with a slight metallic odor that is significantly heavier than water. GHB has many of the same side effects as alcohol, including nausea, headaches, and drowsiness. The National Institute of Drug Abuse states that the last most common date rape drug, ketamine, is a dissociative anesthetic that can commonly create a sensation where the user feels as if they are separated from their own body and may report near-death experiences. Because of the devastating experiences date rape drugs can produce, it is essential to use all safety measures as possible to protect yourself and to be there for other people. Some simple behavioral modifications to make sure you and your friends follow include: first, never leave your cup or bottle unattended. This is the most common way people slip others a drug. Also, don't accept open drinks from anyone, no matter how well you know them. Do not drink from open beverage sources like punch bowls and pitchers. And lastly, keep your eyes and ears open. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings at all times. If these behavioral modifications aren't quite enough protection for your liking, there is a new development in the area of drinking safely. Drink Safe Technology states that there are two different kinds of tests that detect date rape drug substances. The first are Drink Safe coasters. These coasters have two test areas located at each bottom corner of the coasters that detect date rape drugs. The other is Drink Safe Personal Test Kits. They are basically test strips that react with a visible color change when they come in contact with a drink spiked with one of the major date rape drugs. A young teenage girl who's warm, bubbly, and has a life full of potential is going to be sexually assaulted. Or she will be given information on how to protect herself and others from these drugs that cause such horrific consequences. The ending of this story is the latter choice because someone was there to inform her on the risks and precautions and she knew what to look for. How would the story have ended if she came to you? Can you imagine the fulfillment and satisfaction you would feel if you were the one that was able to save a young girl or boy from a sexual assault, and furthermore from a life full of shame, guilt, and regret? This is the time to fully commit yourself in protecting you and your loved ones. A day after my best friend got sexually assaulted, I dedicated myself in protecting myself and others from these date rape drugs, and I've never regretted it a day of my life, and I promise you won't either. It's time to be courageous, brave, and step out of the box for the renewed hope of something great. As Ambrose Redmond once stated, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than that fear.